Welcome, everybody, to the Nuggets of Gold podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about Sam Darnold and the possibility of him being traded to the 49ers. And so, me and Bo, we were talking about a couple options that trade routes they could go. But I think that there's one that we both like the most. The 49ers trading the number 12 pick back to 23 and then also acquiring Sam Darnold. So, if this was to happen, it would probably happen on draft night just because you would see the Jets go get quarterback at 2. They'd probably go Zach Wilson. Maybe you see Fields there. I'm assuming that they would take Wilson, though. Just all the mocks,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been saying that. I don't know how accurate they really are. But, Bo, you can start out, man. What do you think about that move for the 49ers?
Oh, I mean, personally, I've always been a fan of Darnold as far as like skill set wise, because the kid, since he was at SC, was unreal mobility, big arm, great accuracy. I don't think he's ever had much of a chance with the Jets because their system and their coaching, as far as weapons around him, never really that many great players around him. So it's kind of been an unfair start to his career. I could totally see him being a great revival story if Shanahan got his hands on his raw talent. It would be I think it would be a good fit to bring into camp to compete with Jimmy, right? To push him.
Yeah, so I'm going to say something that probably a lot of people won't like, but I think that if you trade Sam Darnold and he goes 7 and Josh Allen goes 3 in that draft, that those guys produce similar results.
Wow. No,
And I'm not saying that Darnold is as good. Because I
yeah,
do not think that he's as good as Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is by far a better player, but I
yeah.
just think that the situation in New York has been so bad
Oh, toxic.
where you look at the Bills and yeah, they don't have the best run game, but they have a hell of a coaching staff, and he gets to throw to a super elite guy in Stephon Diggs, and it's just like they've provided a system that really works for Allen,
Mhm.
and he's been coached up. I mean, he gets better every year, and that's of course him as well, like getting better.
Yeah,
But then you have the other side, like the complete opposite, where Sam Darnold's gone through multiple offensive coordinators. He's had Adam Gase. It
yeah.
hasn't looked like it's really worked at all, and like you can't blame Darnold in my opinion.
I'm with
So it's
you.
not. So I would say like that's not to knock Josh Allen. Josh Allen is sweet. I think Josh Allen is one of the probably top 6 guys in the league, top 7.
Yeah,
He's way up there. And he showed that this year too. And
yeah.
he's just continuing to get better. But Darnold, you said it, man. He has all the tools.
He
And
does. He's very similar to Josh Allen, actually. They're both mobile. They're athletic kids that could really throw the ball. So it's not that outlandish of a statement to say that, because if he did have Buffalo's management and coaching, then that he could definitely be having a completely different career right now than the disaster that it's been in with the Jets. Because like it's honestly unfair to bring a rookie quarterback in and not build around him at all in any way. They drafted O-line, but they never really gave him any weapons as far as a star receiver, tight end, running back. Like no one that we could like of note, right? No one that's actually like talented enough for him to take the next step as a quarterback.
and then his best guy, Robbie Anderson, they let walk in free agency.
Right, to the Panthers. So
And
like
Robbie looked great this year. He
did,
looked
man.
great in Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not some super elite guy, but he's a pretty good number 2. Like
He's a
if he's your
high volume receptions guy, which is like those guys are always so valuable. The Cole Beasleys, right? That Josh
yeah.
Allen has. Yeah.
And
Those
he
those
does have Crowder, and Crowder by far is was his best guy at the beginning of this year when Mims was out. Like
yeah,
in
which
week 2 when the Niners played him, dude.
yeah.
Like I think that was Crowder out that week.
I think he was, yeah. He
Yeah,
was
and
in
like there's no one. He's
no
throwing
one.
to what was the white dude's name?
Oh,
He was on the Braxton Berrios.
yeah, Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, and like
Dude.
Darnold didn't really do much, and then he just had that one sweet touchdown. And it's like you can see the talent, you can see the fit in
Just
Kyle's
on the
system.
throw. Yeah, just on that throw, you could see how talented he is, right? He evaded the rush. He was rolling away. Like, it was unreal. And you're just like, oh, wow, this guy is all by himself, Because, like, it's unfair for a young quarterback for his development, right? His psyche, his confidence. Remember when he was famously quoted saying that he's seeing ghosts out there,
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
everyone loves to knock him for that.
yeah, but he's just being honest. It's like I actually respect that he says that, right? Because a lot of quarterbacks, they do see ghosts, but they will never admit it, right? Like Jimmy's seen ghosts many times, right? We've seen him see ghosts, right? He's ducking them in the pocket, but he would never admit it. But like, it would be great to bring Darnold in just to see what Jimmy's made of. He's never had that guy, like a blue chip talent behind him to push him, right? The fit would be perfect with Shanny because I'm pretty sure
No, it really
Shanny,
would. It really would.
yeah, he probably liked Darnold a lot coming out. I don't know what his
I,
personal preference is. Go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
it seems like a quarterback just fits what he wants to do because Sam isn't like super fast or a guy that's going to run for a bunch of yards, but he can move and he's a good player, like where he can roll out of the pocket. You can see him playing that role a
Yeah, yeah.
lot, and
Like
he
he
can
ran
throw in the move well too.
Yeah, he ran a 4.640, so he's got some speed on him, you know what I mean? Like he could run. Josh Allen ran the same 40, so like Sam's athletic. He was an all-state basketball player, just like Josh Allen, you know? There's a lot of similarities between them. It's just one guy went to a dream fit, the other guy went to a nightmare fit. So the development went as such, you know?
Yeah, no, and it's unfortunate too. Like I that's why a lot of these teams, like the Lions, like why would the Lions take a quarterback this year? It doesn't make any sense. They need
Yeah.
to build up a solid squad.
Yeah, you're right.
And the Jets, like I I guess it kind of made sense. I don't really know. I never felt like they were ready. Like they were. I didn't feel like, oh look, they got this quarterback in a year. They're gonna make that step. It was like, no, they're the Jets. They're a horrible organization. Feel bad for Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
um, and like for the Bills, it was like, oh, like the big thing is, and I'll be the first to admit, I didn't like Josh Allen coming out, but it was. I mean, it was the right pick. That was an amazing pick. Like he's totally turned their franchise around. They look like a team that might be able to compete with the Chiefs in a couple of years. I mean, next year they could.
Yeah.
Obviously, the game this year they didn't play them very well.
It was their first time on that stage though.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
And they looked really good against the Colts because I think the Colts were very good teams. And
definitely.
Josh Allen stepped up to the plate, looked really solid. Then against the Ravens, a little bit a better team, I would say by far.
Oh
And
yeah.
they only put up 17 points. Like the Ravens just had nightmare offense. And then that game, it was like the first super like big time test where the other team was up to their level and just competing. And I think it takes a year of that, you know, like it's very odd that you see that like one of these teams just have like their first run to make it all the way. It's usually that second year.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, definitely Buffalo is going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next 10 years with Josh Allen because they got everything that a team could want. They got a good defense. Their running game is where they need to improve though.
Yeah,
So
I like how we just totally started talking about Josh
yeah,
Allen a bunch because whenever a quarterback's brought up, you have to compare him to the other guys in the
in the
class.
class, exactly. Yeah,
No, but
it's
Sam, I like Sam. I like I said, I think that he's one of those guys that just it's not we haven't had seen enough of him. And of course the big issues are like, does he have a great feel for the game? I don't know if we can really judge him on that yet. Like anyone that's just running for their life, like yeah, they got Becton this year. Doesn't mean that their offensive line was good. The
yeah,
years before that they were horrible.
yeah,
Um, and when before they traded Jamal Adams and they had a little bit better squad last year, what did Sam go 7-6 as a starter?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like he's a Cali kid, born and raised, so it would be a return back home. It would be a more comfortable environment. And as far as like he's just a special athlete, and he used to have a swagger about him before the Jets kind of sucked it out of him, but I think it could return because as Niner fans we got to remember Alex Smith, right? It was a nightmare of a start, and a lot of it wasn't on him. We really didn't help him out with coaching, with personnel, and as soon as Harbaugh came in and we started to develop the personnel that he needed, look at Alex Smith, right? The turnaround in his career. I think Darnold can have a very similar turnaround to his career in the right system, which Shanahan is every quarterback's right system. So it would be a
No,
great.
yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just it's interesting. Like so this is the other kind of aspect of it is the whole contract thing because we just saw Carson Wentz get traded, and it's not the same thing at all. It's a risky move. It's risky for the 49ers because they'll lose whatever capital they have to acquire him, and it's not going to be particularly cheap,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But if Sam Darnold comes into San Francisco next year and sucks, he's a free agent, or like
yep,
they don't have to pick up his fifth year.
it's
So
true.
it's not that risky. Like you can just move on the very next season.
Yeah, you just
That's
cut your
what's interesting,
losses.
and that's why I like that trading back in the first and letting the Jets come up? Because I think the Jets would like to do that.
It is, yeah. And I mean, it's not the end of the world to have Jimmy G and Darnold as your QB room next year. It wouldn't. It would. I'm pretty sure Shanahan could work with that. And to trade down to what was the pick, 22? It wouldn't
23.
be 23. That wouldn't be a bad move because, as we talked about earlier, Aziz Ojolari is going to maybe be around that range, and he could be the perfect replacement for D Ford with that speed edge guy, and it would be a great fit for our team both ways. Darnold and Aziz would be. That's what we got to look at it as, right? We're not just getting Darnold, we're also going to get a elite edge guy like Aziz, hopefully around that range.
Yeah, and like it's a guy that's a speed guy. He's not a complete pass rusher, but they don't necessarily need him to be like that. If you have Bosa, Kinlaw, you have Kevin Givens in there, you got Eric Armstead that can kick in, and then you put that guy in on third down, he can flourish as a rookie. He can step in, and he could be an 8-sack guy as a rookie easily. That is totally obtainable for a guy like
definitely.
that.
If Kerry Hyder could do it, he could definitely do it. When you watch his tape, the kid is special, man. As far as ducking under the tackle, going around, he's got it all. He's got all the tools. He's got a great spin move. So, like, it would be a great fit. And he's very similar to D Ford, who's already had success in our system. So it's literally like a plug-in for D Ford.
Yeah.
It would be a great move both ways, Darnold and Aziz.
So,
good package.
So, Bo, before we head out, I want to ask you, where do you like rank this option for the Niners at quarterback? Do you think, do you think this is the best thing they can do? Do you think it's a terrible thing? You seem pretty positive on it. Like, where do you kind of put it, like behind or in between?
Yeah, I'm not with the whole contingent of people that are really down on Darnold and think he's garbage and all this extra hyperbole, I think he's had an unfortunate system and scenario. As far as like our scenarios, I would rank it probably our third most realistic best scenario after Trey Lance. I mean, Deshaun Watson's one for me, obviously. If that's going to happen or not, I don't know. But Trey Lance would be 2 because I don't see us moving up for Fields or Wilson. I mean, I hope it happens, but I don't see that happening. So I have Trey Lance as the second best, and then I would put Darnold as the third best scenario. I'd rather have Darnold and his contract than Carson Wentz or Trubisky or any of those other mid-tier guys. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, with Darnold, it's not that big of a gamble because you could always just cut ties if things don't work out at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And you have that flexibility. That's what helps a lot. I'm about in the same area as you are. I think maybe I'd probably put Fields above Darnold, but the thing is, like, it depends how much that price is to go up and get Fields.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because Fields is still a risky player.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where it kind of depends, is like what is the market to go get these guys? Where if Sam's way less, then all right, you can have Sam, you can get him. And also, I will say this, I feel like it has to happen. If they go get Sam, they're either going to cut Jimmy or Jimmy's going to take a massive pay cut in the sense that he has to like win this job. Definitely. But I do think, and everyone's like, well, why would Jimmy do that? I do think there's value for Jimmy to have a resurgence and to be good in Kyle's system. So I don't know if that's the case. And then if Sam is like obviously going to beat him out, then they'll probably just cut Jimmy. And I'm not sure how his dead money changes after June 1st. So that could be a factor as well.
I think it goes up a little bit, but not too much. I think it goes from like 4 to 6, maybe 2 to 4. I'm not positive, but yeah, it would push him. It is either going to make him or break him. So it would be a good move either way, right? Because at this point, we got to start pushing, man. We got to start going for it all, and we got to really, really go championship or bust time. Because as a Niner fan, and I'm sure you are, we're sick and tired, right? We're sick and tired of being
getting so close.
Yeah, having a super talented team with a super talented coaching staff and not getting it done. It's enough is enough. So like we gotta make moves. No more sitting on our hands.
Yeah, I think being aggressive at quarterback is something that we will see this offseason. I really do. I think that it's what Kyle feels too, and I think that's why a lot of us fans feel the same way. Is because like it seems like Kyle hasn't got to have that guy to truly flourish with. And I think that's just what everyone wants to see.
That's right.
But thanks, Bo, for coming on. Me and Bo are going to be on tomorrow's episode as well, so make sure to check that out. But if you like this channel, subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast, rate and review, do all that fun stuff, and then also like the video. But thanks, everyone, for listening.